podcast go? I'm going to be writing and just doing nothing, so please excuse me.
In the sort of consequential fight. Of course, it's very like, I mean, the Iranians were they were playing this along, I suspect, before it was finished, because, first of all, we've all heard, Grossi saying, he went on television and he said, oh, it's there in this tunnel, there's a little tunnel just up there. It's all sitting there.
That needs a kickstart.
At least half, more than half.
Well, I know where the Kickstarter is.
And then, so
Right,
he was, so he said that. The Iranians know that.
You need to treat
The
it like a
Iranians
core
probably knew there was this disease
at first.
quite close to Isfahan. I mean,
For some other
they
reason.
are military people. They understand how special forces operate. And I can tell you, 130 special forces is not normal. This is company size. I mean, special forces like Delta or the British SAS are usually in 8-man squads. 8 men, you could double it 16, 130.
It's working. I wonder if I can
just a
zoom.
rescue operation. So I think they put it in Trump and said, look, Sir, or to some commander, and probably said, listen, we've got a problem with the airplane down and now missing crews, and we've got a rescue operation. Shall we cancel the Isfahan one? And he said no, and then
Just practicing my cursive.
went badly wrong, and they had
Something
we
that
don't know
people
how
don't
many
get into.
casualties. They won't say.
People don't get into
I would
cursive
think
that often.
very likely that there are a number of casualties. We just don't know. But they lost in the process of this 12 aircraft. So I think the point I'm making about its bigger picture is I very much doubt. I think, what Trump has always wanted, he wants a sort of Venezuela solution.
Doing this kind of
Go
writing
in, Delta Force go in, take Maduro, come back.
is
And he's always been hankering for into
only
Isfahan, take the uranium out and be ready before markets open on Monday to pronounce a great victory. And a long weekend over Easter was
because
quite real, with a market shut
I
a longer period.
cannot
I just underline,
spell.
I can't prove any of this. This is speculative, putting together
So-
sort of what we do know from facts on the ground. What is still not known. There are many aspects of this which are very much
Writing
remain unknown. But my feeling is that
lacks
it doesn't add up as just a simple rescue operation.
a
Simple rescue
flow
operation of crew would have meant long-range helicopters. If it was safe to go in there, perhaps with air cover or something like this, to find the man. They had a beacon on him, a radio beacon, and they have a light beacon as well on the suit. There's established procedure, but you don't put massive people on the ground in big, heavy aircraft, and saying some of them got stuck in the sand. I mean, it's not like that. Special forces will have identified that landing strip, will have tested it beforehand to make sure, it's difficult landing a Hutchins on sand, provided if it's not solid or not stable. These things you have to do, otherwise you could lose, all the crew and the soldiers inside that. So I do know little about that. It's not as simple as it may seem in the films. Just sort of say there's a landing field, just go and land on that, because you could lose everything. So you need to plan this very carefully. So anyway, now that it's sort of, it's claimed to be huge. Of course it'll be a Hollywood film. This is inevitable. Like after the killing of Osama bin Laden, which was all fake, but it'll be a Hollywood film.
Osama bin Laden.
But in fact, I
Someone that looks like this.
that operation is over because they've advertised and they know they've advertised, even though the Iranians are quite capable of thinking it out for themselves. But they have advertised the whole process, and so the Iranians will be waiting if they try to do it again. So what does this mean? How does this fit into the big picture? It fits in the following way. It really leaves, this was to be the quick success, quick Venezuela type success that would allow Trump to say, we've won and I'm out, and to get out of the process with a victory. I think that's over. So what he faces is now what I think he least wanted is a long war, a long, bitter war, which means damage to allies and business partners of him and his family in the Gulf. A long, bitter war, or the alternative of putting troops on the ground in Iran to try and achieve some sort of victory by opening.
Bakers are spelled wrong. B-A-K-E-R-S, not
unless it's why
B-A-C.
there is something of a
Bakers is spelled
pushback.
B
Well, not something. There is a big pushback.
A-K
because they know it is going to be a catastrophe.
E-R-S,
They're not
I
going to
think.
be.
Bakers.
In fact, this
Believe it or not, I can write in Afrikaans as well.
The IRGC would welcome American forces. If you know the geography of the Hormuz and that part of Iran, I mean, it would be, well, all I can say is the best of luck, but I would be glad if, it didn't occur because it would not be successful. But what else could he do?
3:25. I better start rocking and rolling.
Given this military operation, which went so horribly wrong, when Trump tweeted out or put on social media this message, I think everyone read it by now when he wrote that Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. I could interpret it in two ways. One is, this horrible military operation goes wrong, so he's angry, he loses his mind. On the other hand, one thing he does very well, if something goes wrong, be it the Epstein files or something, he's very good at bringing a new shiny object over here. And suddenly all the media focus on the vile language and the threats of war crimes, and there hasn't been that much talk about what went so wrong on this military operation. Again, it could be both.
Because he's threatening people. He said, someone talked about a pilot being, on the ground in Iran. And this man should go to prison. We're going to identify the journalist that said it, and we're going to put him in prison. Well, he's going to have difficulty doing that because it first came out in the Israeli press, not actually in the US press. So maybe he needs to go to Israel to go and find the culprit and put them in prison. But I mean, these outpourings,
beautiful pins.
as I say, actually,
too bad I've got it. I use Hewlett Packard printers ink in it.
I mean,
works quite well.
It
works quite well.
Ravings.
Transform your business with Yellowfin dashboards, the best way to monitor and understand your data and drive action. How? With greater flexibility and visionary functionality, you can do things.
No, thank you.
I want to ask you about your comment that Iran might exit this war much more powerful, because I agree with also what you said about the ceasefire. I think this is something that applies to both Iran and Russia. That is, the objective seems to be, go after sanctions, military actions, and gradually just weaken Iran year by year until it falls apart. And I think this is what they're doing with the Russians as well. So, which is why a ceasefire doesn't make sense. I think the foreign minister of Iran said, well, this will just give the Americans time to regroup, rearm, and have another go at it. So Of course, they want to
Off.
exit this, but the way they look to exit is
2/3
essentially
on,
not just
sloping up to full on,
an
going
American
down.
threat. It appears to be reorganizing
Very
the
simple.
economics
It's,
of the region as well as
so
you said,
simple
removing
it's
all
gonna be
sanctions, but
It's going
but
to
also having
sound
the
like,
US not
why
control
didn't I think
the trading
about
currency,
that?
the shipping corridors,
Why didn't
having
I
this, I guess,
think about
really
that?
powerful influence over the Gulf states. So,
That's
do you see
tic-tac-toe.
how do you see, I guess, Iran's economic goals? Because I find it interesting that, you know, the US usually, there's always some economic interest in wars, but
And
Iran
that is-
seems to destroy the economic interest or benefits of fighting this war with the Iranians.
Is to 4,
I would say, you know, it's understood in completely
5,
the
6.
opposite way.
Too
mostly
short
in
of a
Washington.
chessboard.
But for the Iranians, this is seen as both necessary and an opportunity. Opportunity, yes, because this is how they can break out of their 70 years engagement that they've been placed in.
Engagement.
Just as
What is
if you
engagement?
like, Hamas and Gaza are
They
in a
weren't
literal
engagement.
way, sort of.
They were
fences
living normal
and
lives.
And
They just had to wear funny clothes
so
and
Iran, have you looked
go
at all
kneel
the
on a
military bases
Persian
surrounding
carpet
Iran?
5 times a day.
Every side of it, Iran is surrounded by U.S. military bases. And that was deliberate. It went back to the 70s when Iran didn't have so many advanced missiles it has now. So they've been caged in, not with a fence, but by military forces.
Funny thing is, this
And
tends to
the
go through.
control of the
This
Persian
ink
Gulf,
goes right
they
through the
regarded
pages.
Persian Gulf,
Goes right
was
through the pages.
by two elements, particularly in their own Gulf.
Let me sign off.
The, if you like, the Fifth Fleet in Bahrain, and then all the special forces down in Kuwait. Those are the same special forces that were operating in Iraq, so they've been there for a long time.
I was born in
And it's been known as
1963.
the sort of special forces
Work it out for yourself.
or CENTCOM.
11/11/63. How's that for a fucking day?
With all their
Does that
radars
answer your
and
question?
with all their intelligence gathered. And so
Now I'm
this
really
was
gonna
a
end off on this.
brilliant
I've got to go to
effective.
sleep.
They
Good night.
dominated
Thanks for
almost
watching.